let's get into it. I'm watching the chat, which is on the wrong side of my window. Yeah, so the trade from last week. So if you're not familiar with what the market's been doing recently with CPI, basically 8:30 a.m. in the morning pre-market, we get new numbers for the consumer price index. What is the consumer price index? That is basically a readout or calculation for how expensive goods are. So in our current macroeconomic environment, the Fed is trying to cool the economy off, right? So they're raising interest rates, which it has a lagging effect on things like real estate prices, which has a lagging effect on borrowing. Borrowing money by companies is used for everything, right? All OPEX, hiring, things like that, right? So if the future outlook on money is tightening, if we get indicators like CPI, which tell us, where consumer spending is going, consumer spending is a leading indicator for, what we're going to do as a business. All of that comes together, right? So we had a really strong reaction to CPI. We can see it here. I actually have a whole YouTube video coming out, I think this week, talking about this trade. Yeah, it's in my editor right now, but we'll go over it really quickly. So I've been trading these for a while. Really, any market event, if you see these big buy-ups like this, these are all great trading opportunities, depending on the setup. The way I do these is I do multiple strangles. There's a few different ways that people trade these. So let's actually just talk about that first. So here's where the market closed on Wednesday, November 9th. This green line represents the call position I took, and this other green line down here is the put position I took, right? So this was a 38.20 by, I think 36.95 strangle. And then I also took another strangle that I didn't talk about in that video up here at 3,900 and down at 3,600, which is way down here, right? Both of those hit about 1,000%. I was actually just doing some analysis before I got on here, which is going to modify the way that I do this in the future. But the point here is that you're basically waiting for a big move, right? So once we hit outside of this corridor, this green corridor here, that's where we start to make money, right? So both of these positions are in the negative. You have theta eating away at them. What happens with CPI is because the expected move is so big, the IV increases exponentially. So I have some notes here still from when I recorded this video, right? Premiums go up. So when market opens, these are actually green just by like a few dollars, right? You essentially don't lose any money. This pops up. Both sides or both strangles are very, very profitable. These ones here at 38.20s, you can see the 38.20s eventually went over $100. And I actually have in another tab where I was doing some of this analysis. Yeah. So here we can see I sold my 3,900 calls for $15. So I bought these for $2, right? Went from $2 to $15 and $2 to $18 here. And we can see that there's another 40 point move from here up to around this level, right? So there's plenty more upside on this chart, and it's not making my line. Oh, wrong line. Horizontal line. So here, right? So what is this? I think it's one of the lines I did accidentally. Get rid of that one. So that was that trade. What do I want to see going forward? Let's go ahead and just make a new layout. Looking at ES. Get rid of this and get rid of this alert. Trading futures right now, actually. So what I'm looking for right now is a rejection off of this upside here, right? So let's go ahead and just draw a quick little channel. Basically, everyone in the market is anticipating this, by the way. So this isn't even a crazy thing. I'm saying what a lot of people are saying. What is key though is timing, right? So we're looking at the daily chart, and we have this nice little descending channel. There's also an inside channel. If you've been doing TA for a while, this thing exists, right? So we're looking off a rejection there. The really only question here, I think, in my mind, is a possibility of a breakout. So we can't rule out the fact that the market can do anything. I think everyone's kind of looking for a top here, a rejection. The question in my mind is, what if we have a breakout here, right? What if we have some crazy exponential move to the green side? It's very unlikely, but entirely possible, right? And I keep that in mind, right? So I'll be looking for a reversal. I'm actually going to put money on for a reversal, but I'm definitely open to a move to the downside, or sorry, a move to the upside here. Either of these trades is going to be exceptionally profitable, right? So we just had midterms. We have one more CPI and FOMC meeting in December, and playing, some long dated puts here could do very well. The reason I wouldn't even say I'm hesitant. The reason that I'm eyeing this move in particular is because I'm on like 4 or 5 different Discords with just traders. Basically, everybody is talking about this move. I'm talking about it right now. And that's concerning to me, right? Because we could all be right, but then we could be very off with our timing, right? We could get a breakout, fake out, and then we could get that reversal, right? So timing, especially if you're doing a 1 to 2 week dated move, right? If I'm looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 here, right? I'm looking for a target down here, right? I could be off by days, and depending on how off I am on the daily chart, could be the difference between a 300% gain and some silly 20% loss. So that is what I'm thinking about. I think there's one person on this live. If you're here, ask a question, or we will wrap this up, and this will be a nice little kind of preview to the market video. I plan to do these every week. So if you don't want to ask a question, you can ask it in the comments and I'll address it next week. But that's generally what we see, One last thing that I might look at is the dollar. Let's take a look at the dollar. And we can see that the dollar is selling off here. So next support on the dollar is probably down here. You'll notice I'm not using any indicators or doing any like volume at price analysis. So we might see a little reversal here, right? We're still on the daily. And if we think about that, if we think about the relationship between the dollar and the market, we know that they are inverse each other. So if this flips around and the dollar bounces off this level on the daily and it goes up, well, what's that mean? Well, we just talked about it. It means we're going to get a huge sell-off. If I can find that chart while I was looking at it here. All right, sorry, I'm jumping around a lot. So we're looking at the dollar. If it bounces off this level here and we spike up, let's go back to our chart of ES on the daily. The dollar hits that level and spikes up. That means that ES in the market's going to sell off, right? So they're inversely related. Works out that way every time. So what's the fake out thing that I mentioned? So if we look here, the fake out would be essentially we have this descending channel here on the daily chart for ES. ES, SPX, and SPY, SPY are all market indexes, right? So the charts are nearly the same. So a fake out breakout is a thing I just made up, but that essentially be looking at a fake breakout, right? And that would look like if the market went here and we had this move up, right? But then it immediately went, down back here, right? And the reason that's so important is because this is a really the timing for a fake out like that is prime, right? And so, and again, we're looking at the daily charts. Every bar is 1 day right now. So we could break out, we get outside this channel. It might be 3, 4, 5 days where we break out. And that's enough time. That's a week, right? 5 trading days is a week. It's enough time for people to get fooled into thinking, oh, we're in a bullish trend, right? It's just going to skyrocket, but then it doesn't skyrocket, right? Really what happens is they're just trapping buyers here and then immediately sells back off, days over days out throughout December. So that's what I mean about a fake out, breakout. That's not a real term. I just made that up. But you'll see it all the time, right? In all these different time spans here. See if we can find one. Here's a nice little example of a fake breakout, right? So we bought this up here. We sold off. We started to recover here, but then we immediately just continued this downtrend and we sold off, right? And so this is what we call no man's land in trading zone and trading world. You don't really want to trade, even though we have this inside channel. Or really because we have this inside channel, we could use it for support and resistance. And we can see there's rejection here, rejection here, rejection here, support here, right? Like this inside channel is super powerful, but I'm always looking for puts basically on the daily. It's different on different time zones, but I'm always looking for puts on the daily here. So I would not look for calls here. I would just wait. So we got here, this rejection is good entry for puts or, playing for the downside essentially. Any other questions? Laura, you're my sole watcher right now, so the floor is yours. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to cover in this video. I will just say that since I am going to post this, I do have a Discord now, which you should join. By the way, I'll be posting my trades there. Yeah, reread some of those chapters. We could definitely talk about that. But yeah, for anybody who watches this later, check out the Discord. FKX, which I talked about on Instagram and I'm talking about now, is really a venture that I'm building from the ground up. Thought I'll spend a lot of time thinking about how I want to do this, but the goal is to, really build a company around financial literacy and helping people learn to trade, right? The cool thing about trading in particular is whatever money you pay me, you can just make back in the markets yourself. So it should just be a self-sustaining endeavor once you're good enough. Yeah, we can all make a ton of money together. Important dates. Last thought, December 13th and 14th, I think are the dates for CPI and FOMC in December. Great trading opportunity. You can make some serious cash on that date. I made about 15 grand on this trade here. I'm going to try and 10x that actually, at least double it. Without even going too crazy, but yeah, I'd like to make 6 figures on the next one. That's the goal for me. We'll see. We shall see. But I think that is it. Someone else just joined. Any questions from whoever just joined? I can't see participants here. I just see a number. We just wrapped up talking about trades to look for. This market structure here. Being wary of this fake out. Type now or forever hold your peace. Okay. I don't know if there's lag there, but if I don't get to your question, put it in the comments. My name's Forrest. I invest in stuff. You should too. I will see you all in the next video or the next live or maybe in real life if you know me. Peace.